This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time! Presenting the champion of the world, Phil Wham Bam Benamino!
Yo, it's your boy. It's Phil Wham Bam Benamino, and we got another great episode of the show about ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. And today's no different. But before we get started, as always, remember the show is free. So we ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there. Hit the alert button so you get all the new alerts because, that's the only way we get any love on this show. So please share it, like it, love it. Do all those great things and give us some feedback because we like the feedback. Today's show, I have a 19-year-old college kid that's going to share with us some interesting stuff that he's gone through. Okay, and for all you kids out there getting ready to graduate, get ready to go to college, pay attention. And if you're a basketball star, even better, because this kid is well known. He actually grew up at West Forsyth High School, where he played basketball, where he excelled. He excelled in basketball. He was regional king, as they say, of basketball. And it's Jake Mooney. He's here today. Welcome, Jake. How are you, man?
How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. So you know what? You've been an icon here in the coming Forsyth, county here. You've done a lot of great things growing up and playing basketball. You seem to find your little niche there in the hoops. Is that true?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell us a little about some of your awards, man. A little bit growing up and how you got into basketball.
Growing up, I was always like a bigger, taller kid, and I always just kind of got used to playing basketball because everyone always wanted me on their team. And
how tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
6'7". So yeah,
Yes, sir.
pretty tall.
Yes, sir.
But wait a second. You're 6'7", but aren't you a 3-point guy?
I am a 3-point guy. I'm like a stretch big kind of thing.
All right, so that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So good. Tell us the journey.
So I started off as a kid. I played pretty much all growing up. I didn't start late. I grew up playing basketball my whole life. I started off in high school as a freshman. I was on the freshman team. Sophomore year, I was on the JV team, just like every other high school kid that wants to play basketball. And then my junior year, I got put on varsity. I wasn't anything too special, 10 points a game kind of thing. And then my senior year is really when I took off and won all my awards, averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
So
did you do any dunking in high school?
I did do some dunking in high school.
I know. I actually witnessed some of it myself.
Yes, sir.
So I got the ability to actually see that. So,
yes, sir.
Which was pretty cool. Now, do you prefer to dunk over 3-point? Well, I know you're better at 3 points, but what's your preference?
I guess my preference would be dunking because I don't get to do it as much, whereas I get to shoot a lot of threes because that's what I'm good at. So I like to get a dunk in here and there.
Yeah, does it give you a little bit of rise,
yeah,
a little bit of excitement?
It makes the crowd excited, so it makes me excited on the court too.
Yeah, very cool. So obviously going through high school, king of West Forsyth. I mean, you were a stud over there, man. Star. You had a lot of basketball offers, but you chose to go Division II.
Yes, sir.
And I remember having this conversation. You ended up you're at Georgia College.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about how you landed there and how that came about.
Georgia College is actually where my sister went to school. So when I was a sophomore, it was her freshman year in college. So all growing up in high school, I was going in and out of Georgia College, seeing it every single month probably, and every time I go, I just loved it. I knew I wanted to go there before I even knew that college basketball was even in my mind. So when I got the chance to really see that I could play college basketball, a lot of D3s started reaching out, and I loved all the D3 schools that reached out to me. They were all very good schools. But when Georgia College reached out, it hit home because knowing my sister was going to be there for my freshman year of college, I really loved it. But, outside of that, the basketball team, they were all the nicest team I could ask for. Their recruiting was amazing. The coaches were super nice, and it went really well.
It's kind of funny that you talked about, a lot of Division III, colleges reaching out and stuff. But even though you finished Division II, was Division I ever? Was that something that was on your radar too? And did you feel any pressures with that as well? You being the stud and incoming. Was that something that you really wanted to do, or didn't matter?
I think D1 didn't really matter to me. Obviously, it would have been cool to get a pretty big school to be interested in me. I had some texts and like talking to the Naval Academy coach and some of the military schools, but I'm not a military guy myself, so
Gotcha.
it didn't work out for me that way. But I didn't think anything else other than those D1s were kind of in my text or anything.
Gotcha. Well, I remember having a conversation with you after one of your games because I remember you were playing and, geez, I think you hit like 12 threes that game. You had over 34 points or 36 points. I mean, you did, but majority of them were, I think it was one dunk and the rest were all threes, like you said, actually. But I remember having a conversation with you about, college stuff, and you said, you know what, I'd rather play in a Division II college because I'm going to get more playing time. Exactly. Was that really your theory? And how's that worked out for you? I mean, I know now you're currently sophomore?
Well, technically I'm a sophomore in the classroom, but I'm a freshman on the court.
Okay. So you got redshirted?
I redshirted, yes, sir.
Okay. So how did that go for you? What was that first year like?
I mean, redshirting was really good for me. It was not as great at the time. It's not that fun because you're working every single day, lifting, practicing, doing things over and over and over again for basically nothing in return. You're not getting to play. You don't get to travel to games. You just got to work, and then you go back to your dorm while you watch your team play.
Right.
Which was terrible. But at the end of the day, I look back and I go, I'm so glad I did that because now that I am playing, it has made such a difference in my play style and how good I am on the court.
Now, was it hard going in? Obviously, college kid, growing up from high school, going into college, your first year of college, trying to have a little bit of fun, a little partying going on. What's that like as far as, that whole after, the life after basketball, when you're in college, when you're in school, when you're on your own?
Yes. Partying is very limited when you're a college athlete. But one thing our coach really does try to do is he wants us to have a life outside of basketball. And he does a really good job of kind of telling us that. And he wants us to be able to go out and do things that aren't basketball related just to keep our mind off of it because basketball's on our mind 24/7 basically, other than the time that we get to just be kids, be ourselves, do what we want with our friends.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a good coach. Did they do any hazing with you when you went in?
No.
Hazing at all?
They always said that they were going to do something, but no, they never really. They would give me a hard time and like pick on me as how it is being a freshman. But yeah. I mean, nothing too major, just little jokes and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that's easy, man. That's easy stuff. So they didn't tape you up, tape your hands up, or tie you up, or, do anything crazy to you.
Nothing crazy.
Dump you in a cold bath.
Nope. Nothing crazy.
Well, that's cool. So, talk about your first year on campus and the adjustment. A lot of these kids are getting ready to graduate school. Yeah. Some kids are going into college. Some kids are wondering. Some juniors wonder what college is all like. Tell them about the experience of what it's like going into school, from school into college.
I would say the biggest difference is time management. When you're at school, when you're in high school, you can basically get most of your work done, like actual work done in school or in your class. But when you get out of class is when you got to do most of your schoolwork in college. Like in high school, I would get all my work done. The only thing I had to do at home was study for tests, which is not very often. Those tests only come every so often. But in college, it's like you go to class and you learn the whole time, but then you still got to go home and do all your work. You can't work in class. Like you don't get that chance. So there's a lot of extra work outside of the classroom, which is why you're not in school that many hours because you're doing so much extra work outside of the classroom.
Now, is there a lot of pressure on them? I know you got a scholarship, so you're obviously working, to maintain your scholarship. You don't want to get that taken away because that gives you the opportunity to get an education. What was there kind of pressure on that as far as your grades go, where you got to keep up a certain?
Oh, most definitely. Because the Hope Scholarship here in Georgia is paying 100% tuition now, so that is a huge thing for all college athletes. Because if you're a college athlete and you're getting Hope, everything from your scholarship money goes towards your meal plan, your housing, your books, anything like that can go to your other stuff other than tuition. So a lot of college kids are trying to keep that Hope Scholarship so they get extra money toward the other things that aren't tuition.
Mm-hmm. Now, take me back to your first day walking into the locker room. Okay, you're at the Georgia College locker room. You're like, boom, you're put on. I'm now an official. I'm not a high school basketball player anymore. I'm now a college athlete. What was that like, man?
I mean, when you first walk in and see your name on the locker, it's just, that feeling is just amazing. But I got something, our first game, so we did an exhibition against the University of Georgia, which is a very big school, a lot of people there. And I didn't realize
Talking about the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you guys played a D1 team.
We did. Yes,
oh,
sir.
okay, all right. So
And I think we only lost by like 8 or 10 points. So it was a really close game.
Okay. Well, all levels are good, man.
Absolutely.
All levels are good.
Absolutely. But we went there, and I didn't realize how big college basketball was until I walked through the UGA tunnel and walked into their arena and saw how many people were in that arena. And I was like, that was a little star-striking. I was very, very nervous, very nerve-wracking. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah. So your first shot as a college athlete, did it go in or not? I'm just curious. And what was it?
Ooh,
Do you remember it?
Ooh, in a real game, I think my first shot did go in. I think it was a catch and shoot three. Someone had drove and kick. I was wide open. But I had made some shots in like scrimmages and stuff like that prior to like our first college game. But I think I made my first shot of actual game time, like in the season.
Yeah. So was that cool? Was that a good experience for you?
That's a great feeling.
Did you keep the basketball?
I did not. Yeah, we were at another school,
yeah.
and they won't let us do that, unfortunately.
They won't let you do it. See, that's where they need that NIL money, where the schools where they can go ahead and do that stuff.
Yes, sir.
So what are some of your goals? I mean, being an athlete in basketball, like obviously D2, you said you chose to go D2 versus some of the other opportunities because you wanted to play more. I actually had on our podcast we did with Ali Moppet, who actually went Division III in football. I actually graduated Hobart College, where I was my alumni, and ended up turning pro. He ended up going Tampa Bay Buccaneers, turning Pro Bowl, won a Super Bowl, and retired after 7-8 years. Made a great ton of money, and now he's becoming a doctor, which is kind of cool. So Division III, Division II, you could still make it if you decide to go pro. Is that something that you want to do?
Yes, sir. I'm interested in going overseas after I get out of college, and I think that'd be really interesting to just kind of get out of the norm and go to another country and just experience that and get to play basketball with a lot of different guys, from different places, and I think it'd be a really good time. So I'm interested in that. After I graduate, I'll spend 5 years in college and get my master's, and then go toward pro and see what I can do with that.
Yeah. What are you taking up in school?
I'm majoring in marketing, and I have a minor in graphic design.
Excellent. So you got a plan. You got a backup plan.
Yes, sir.
Which is great. So you're going to get education either way.
Yes, sir.
And that's part of it, right? But basketball is something you would like to pursue outside of that.
Yes.
Let me ask you about that, because I know a lot of kids ask this stuff. Do they force you to wear a certain brand? Do you have to wear different shoes, or can you choose your own shoes?
No, I have to wear Nike because we're Nike sponsored. So I got to wear Nike shoes. I got to wear Nike socks.
Wait a second. Could you wear a shoe like this?
I could wear a shoe
Could you wear Wham Bam podcast shoe man right there?
I
maybe?
could probably wear
Would
it
you rock
to the
that?
game.
Yeah,
I could probably wear it to the game.
Yeah, will you
Yes,
rock
sir.
that, baby?
Yes, sir.
No, but you know what? Style is a big thing now, right? Everybody's always worried about what they're wearing. But if they tell you that you have to wear a certain brand of shoe, isn't it true that sometimes shoes don't fit everybody the same way?
Yes, sir.
Like myself, I couldn't wear a Nike because I got a wide foot. It's got a wide foot. It's just the way it is. It's just not as comfortable as an Adidas for me. But doesn't mean it's a bad shoe. I got some Nikes that fit great, but what is it like when they force you to wear a certain brand and really it's not the brand of your choice?
I mean, you get used to it. Most kids, we don't all have to wear the exact same shoe, which really helps us because Nike makes a lot of different basketball shoes. You got, well, not anymore, but they had Kyrie's, which is what I wear. KD's, there's a lot of different things, Kobe's, that people can kind of pick from and go one route with it more than another. As long as we're wearing Nike, it can be anything. So it's not that big of a deal for us because we can kind of pick a shoe out of Nike that we do like.
That's good. That makes it nice.
Yes.
What about traveling? Like when you're traveling away and stuff. Obviously, you're taking a bus. You guys flying?
We take a bus.
You take a bus. So when you take a bus, you're staying in hotels. They treating you right. They giving you food. Like what kind of meal are you guys eating? McDonald's and stuff?
No, we're not eating McDonald's. A lot of the time we stop at like Firehouse, Subway, a lot of the sub shops, so we can get healthy meals before games. And then after games, sometimes we'll have kind of like a treat. We'll go to like Wendy's or something. He'll let us get like Frosties and, some stuff like that. After game, you always want like something a little more filling, like a burger or something like that.
Yeah.
And we try to do that after games. So
Gotcha. Now you're playing a lot. You're sixth man off the bench right now currently and
Right
stuff.
now,
So
yes, sir.
you're coming in and stuff. What is it like though when you show up at college? You're 6'7". You're certainly not small,
no,
but you're not the big guy anymore.
I'm not.
In high school, you were kind of the big guy, right?
Most definitely.
And was that weird, because they probably had you underneath? Were you playing center in high school?
Yes, sir.
So you're playing center in high school, but you're really like a guard type person. Like you want to shoot the threes. You're out there draining those things, and which I'm sure the height has helped you. But what's it like when you get into college? You're not the big guy anymore.
Oh, it's a little. You got to think about it a lot because you can't just do the same things you used to do. You got to find one thing that you're really good at and focus on that one thing and make sure that you're the best on the team at that one thing to stand out. So out of the bigs, I would say I'm one of the better shooters on the team, and that's what makes me stand out from somebody else, where I get more play time because I can come in and hit a couple threes, whereas some of our other bigs can't.
Gotcha. What's the tallest guy you got right now on your team?
We got a 7'1" kid from New Zealand.
7'1" from
Yes,
New
sir.
Zealand.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that how do you match up against him? You ever go 1-on-1 with him?
Yeah, we do a little bit, but he stays more inside the 3-point line.
I would imagine so. At 7'1".
Yeah, I got a little more weight on him, so which helps me with my strength, so I can kind of hold him away from the rim. But if he shoots over my head, there's not much I can do sometimes.
So what are your practices like, man? You guys are battling it out and stuff? Are you always trying to, how does that go? Because a lot of times, especially when you're fighting to, break into the starting lineup, you're young. Obviously, you're just a true freshman on the basketball court. So you're trying to break into, the starting lineup. What are practices like? Are you guys kind of a little bit more rougher because you're trying to show your pace and what your ability really is? Or do you kind of lay back because you gotta be careful that you don't hurt somebody, type of thing? What's the pace of your practices like?
I'll start with what high school practice is like. High school practices are very slow pace. You got a lot of learning. There's more learning than there is in college. I was talking to somebody the other day about this. They were like, what practices do you like better? And I said that I like colleges because you're not learning as much as you are in college, because those players already know the basics. They already know most of that stuff that they're teaching in high school, basically. And in college, it's a lot of battling. Unless it's the day before a game, we're going at each other basically every day. We're competing 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, full court 1-on-1s, 4-on-4s, 5-on-5s. We'll go the whole time just competing and just going at each other, just trying to get extra reps in. And it really helps just because it's game-like situations, whereas you're not just running through a drill just to do the drill. It's true game-like situations where you're practicing and keep practicing those to help you in the game.
What's the off season like? Like obviously now you've experienced 1 year in between. What's the off season? Are you still playing basketball every day? Are the coach is still requiring you to come to the gym? Like what do you do in the off season?
Off season is a little different. We try to go about every other day. A lot of the times we'll do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of thing and be off Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday. He gives us a lot of weekends on the off season, which is nice to give us a chance to go home and see our family and stuff like that. But off season is a lot of lifting weights. Yeah. Honestly, we lift more weights than we probably play basketball. But we only get so many hours. I think we only get 8 hours a week to have a basketball in our hand and be coached by the coach. Gotcha. At D2 level. So
do you do a lot on your own? What do you do on your own?
A lot of getting shots up in the off season. Yeah. A lot of getting shots up because you're lifting so much. If you lift and you don't shoot, all you're going to do is mess up your jump shot. So we always got kids in the gym.
Never really thought about that. That makes a lot of sense. So if you're lifting, you're getting stronger, you better get in the gym and throw that ball up there so you can still get the same feel.
Yeah, you want to keep that same rhythm because if you lift 2 weeks without shooting a basketball,
throwing bricks, baby.
Yeah, you're throwing bricks. It's going to be long every time, or it's going to be short because your arms are tired. You gotta keep that rhythm, keep the muscle memory going.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you prefer practicing shooting in the morning or in the evenings?
I'm a late night kind of workout guy. So like we have keys to our gym, so we can go to our gym.
So you got a key to the gym?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
so
that's pretty cool.
We have 24/7 access to our gym, which is really nice. We can go set up the gun at 2 a.m. if we want to and go get shots up. I like to go somewhere between 10:30 and 11, and I'll work out till midnight, go home and shower and go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's really nice being able to work out at night because you're tired after you get done to work out at night. So
Sure. Well, it's got to be kind of cool too, because while you're doing that, other people are probably sleeping already.
Most
so you're getting ahead of the game.
most definitely.
You know, do you have a routine that you do prior to your games? Do you have any superstitious things that you do that you like to do? You wear certain kinds of socks or different colors? You know, is there any kind of music you listen to? Tell us a little bit about any traditions that you do.
A lot of the time I listen to a lot of classic rock, some AC/DC, some stuff like that before games. Not always every time, depending on our bus ride. A lot of times my headphones die, which stinks.
You need new headphones, man.
Yeah,
Coach, get him a new set of headphones.
I need more than one set of headphones, but it's all right. It happens. But I listen to a lot of classic rock before games to get my blood pumping. It's fast paced. It's loud. It's really fun. But man, I don't think I do much other than that.
Yeah,
It's pretty much the same. I don't really think about it.
So listen, you know, listening to rock music, you mentioned AC/DC and stuff. I actually had this conversation on one of my pods before as well, talking about music. Actually, it was with Ollie, and now that I think about it, football, because we always talked about getting all pumped up before the game. Mm-hmm. But as you get older, you realize that you need to be kind of relaxed, because if you get all pumped up in the beginning, all your adrenaline's gone before halftime.
Yes,
and then you got to try to, it breaks you down. So he said what he does, he's listening to something a little more calming, not like yacht rock is going to put you to sleep, but some calming stuff, out there. Do you think something like that would ever work for you, and would that help you?
I think it could. A lot of the time I do mix some yacht rock into the AC/DC kind of thing.
Go.
So I'll go back and forth with some yacht rock and some like more upbeat, louder rock, and I'll go back and forth with it. So I'm not put to sleep, but I'm also not too jacked up on adrenaline. So,
yeah. So you know what? We talked about practice a little bit. Practices are a lot rougher, a lot harder. You had a really, really rough practice one day this year, back in April.
Yes, sir.
In fact, for the viewers that don't know, those that know Damar Hamlin, who basically died on the football field and they brought back to life. Well, you had a very similar experience at practice. Your heart stopped as well, and
yes,
you were
sir.
brought back to life too, weren't you, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Tell the viewers a little bit about that day and what that was like.
So April 3rd, it was just a normal day. I wasn't thinking anything about it. I went to class, and I always had morning classes so I could get them out of the way. Went to class, went to lunch, and I was going to go back and take a nap. I was tired after my classes. A lot of college kids take naps. So I was going to go back and take a nap. My teammates were like, hey, we're going to go work out with Coach. You're welcome to come if you want. And I was like, nah, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to stay in the room. And as soon as I got to my room, and I was like, man, I really should go change and go work out. I really need to go work out. So thank God I did that day, because if it wasn't for going to that workout, I don't know where I'd be. But when I went to work out, did everything the same. I was doing a drill. We would dribble with 2 basketballs, pass one to Coach, and then go finish a layup or a dunk. And I felt real dizzy. And I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. And I picked up the basketball and I closed my eyes. And that was the last thing I remember. And I just fell. My teammates say I fell straight back and hit my head, the back of my head. And I went into what's called cardiac arrest.
Hey, folks, this is Wham Bam at Wham Bam's Podcast. I want to take a moment to thank our major sponsor, Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. If you're a business owner and you're accepting credit cards or need to accept credit cards, reach out to Cost Plus Processing at 1-855-391-9190. That's 1-855-391-9190. And find out why they are the future in merchant processing. Now back to the show. Oh, that's unbelievable. So literally your heart stopped. Obviously at that point in time, you didn't know anything, but from what you heard and from what people have told you, what exactly happened after that time? Did they have to revive you?
So after that time,
did your heart officially stop? Did they have to bring out a defibrillator or anything?
So after that, my coach started doing CPR and sent one of my teammates to go get our trainer with the AED.
Who's the coach that did that?
Ryan Aquino.
Ryan, good job, Ryan. Big kudos to you, man. All right.
He's done a great job. He did a great job right there. He saved my life. He's part of the reason I'm still here. But he sent our players to go down and get the trainer. The trainer brought up the AED. He did CPR while the trainer came and brought it to me, put the AED paddles on me, made everyone move away, shocked me, and it takes about 2 minutes or so for it to get a reading, and I had opened my eyes about 2 minutes later. So I was on the ground for about 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Wow. Amen, man. It's so bizarre just hearing you talk about that, you know. Do you remember what do you remember during that time? Do you have any recollection of anything?
The only thing I remember is I remember right before and I remember right after, as soon as I opened my eyes. Those were the only two things. And I remember a little bit like after later on that day, but I had a major concussion from hitting my head on the ground.
Sure.
Like I remember the workout that we were doing when it happened. And I remember waking up and seeing all of the paramedics and all the EMTs all standing above me looking to make sure I'm okay. And I remember both of those things very well.
You know, I bet back in the day, and you know, this goes to all of you. So we talk about paramedics. We talk about, you know, the people that work the ambulances, the fire crews. Those type of people, they really are the heroes. And, you know, you never know when you're going to need them. But, you know, I'm probably thinking that you're pretty thankful that they were there that day.
Yes, sir.
And showed up and were able to help you.
Absolutely.
You know, what do you remember when you open your eyes at first? Like, what was the first thing that came to your mind? You know, try and take you back to that moment.
Everyone said, I don't remember this, but everyone said I was ready to get back up and keep on going like nothing happened.
Really?
I thought I maybe
That's
just
a Jake
passed
Mooney
out.
way right there, huh?
And I didn't know what happened. So I just assumed I was just going to get back up and go practice. I was a little confused and no one would let me stand up. So I was like, okay, now there's something wrong.
Right. So now what'd you end up you went into the hospital, obviously, for several weeks.
So I had an ambulance take me to the hospital in Milledgeville. And luckily my dad was a paramedic EMT in Gwinnett County for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So he had me sent to Gwinnett County where he knows a lot of the guys over there. So he had me transferred from Milledgeville to Gwinnett County. And I stayed there for a week and like 2 days, I think.
Yeah. And what was that like? What was that experience? Were you kind of in a shock? Were you thinking you're not going to be able to play basketball anymore? What were your thoughts going through your head?
So my first cardiologist, he did a great job and he did nothing wrong. He is the one who told me I wasn't going to be able to play basketball again, which wasn't wrong. He was going by the guidelines that he needed to go by, just because in the hospital, you don't get 19-year-old athletes with cardiac arrest. Mm-hmm. So it's not normal for them to get that. So he was going by guidelines to tell me I can't play basketball anymore, which is that's right for him to do. I mean, he shouldn't press any lines that he shouldn't. So they told me I wasn't going to be able to play basketball again, and I was absolutely devastated. I mean, it was for something that I've loved for so long to finally get to college and be able to play that. And then
you're a freshman, man. You're sitting there, you're fighting to get in the starting lineup, and you're right there, and all of a sudden now
everything's taken away. Yeah, everything's taken away. But it actually worked out, and we found a cardiologist out of St. Joe's, and he works with the Atlanta Hawks, he works with the Braves, and he works with the Falcons. So he is their cardiologist whenever anything goes wrong, and I got in with him, and luckily we went through all these tests. It was weeks and weeks and weeks of tests, and it actually worked out to where he said he could clear me to go back to play basketball again.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that must have been a happy day.
It was a great day. I was super excited.
Now, are you on anything now? Or, I mean, what, are you taking anything and precaution? And what would they put you on? Anything?
A lot of the times my coach just kind of watches me a little extra. But if I do feel anything different, I'll let him know that that's what I'm feeling. And if I think it's major, I'll step off the court for sure.
Gotcha. What about, as far as did they put anything on you? Didn't you get something inserted in you?
Yes, I have an internal defibrillator on my side right here. And what it does is it reads my heartbeat. So if it does get over a certain heart rate or under a certain heart rate, it'll shock. But it sits on my side, and there's a wire that runs right underneath my chest and then straight up the middle of my sternum.
So you have it on right now. It's inside of you.
It'll be on for the rest of my life.
Really? How does that feel, and what is that like?
At first, it was a little awkward. It was a little uncomfortable. It would move around when I would walk. But now that the tissue is built around it and I've gotten used to it, it's just another thing. It's just like putting your phone in your pocket. You're just so used to it that you don't even feel it anymore.
Gotcha. Does it scare you at all? The thought that, hey, you have this machine on you. I mean, does doctor say what happens if it goes off or something goes wrong?
So far, not a single internal defibrillator has went off without it should go off. So if it goes off, they said it's gonna just feel like a horse just kicked you in the chest, basically, which would not feel great. But at the end of the day, I'd rather it go off than not go off.
Sure.
So I mean, they said that, and I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, folks, this is Wham Bam at Wham Bam's Podcast. I just wanted to let you know that we've launched our website and merchandise is now available to you. That's right. We have hats. We have T-shirts. We have hoodies. The hoodies have been going off the shelf already. The Stay Positive hoodies. That's right. Stay positive, folks, and keep testing negative. As you know, go to our website at www.whambamspodcast.com. That's www.whambamspodcast.com. Now back to our show. Describe what the defibrillator is supposed to do for you.
It's just like an AED. So all it is an AED inside my body. So if I don't have an AED, like on my person or in my car or something, it will shock for me.
So it's basically an insurance policy to keep you going.
Basically, yes, sir.
So that's a good thing.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I guess that wouldn't be so bad to have, especially knowing that, you were laying down on a basketball court, not moving and heart not breathing, type of thing. That's scary. I mean, Damar Hamlin, the whole world got to see that. Here you are, a 19-year-old kid, just playing in basketball in college, and you went through the same thing, man. You went through the exact same thing, and that's kind of what this show's a lot about. It can happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
It's just what do you do when it happens, and who's around you? And luckily, you had some great people around you, man.
Most definitely.
So those people you got on your Christmas Christmas list last year, did you put them on that?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So how do you feel now? Being back, you're back practicing, you're back playing.
Yes, sir.
And how's your wind? How do you feel physically being on the court?
I mean, obviously there was a lot of getting back into shape because even I went into the hospital in April. I really didn't get cleared until August. So, I mean, that's a long time to go without doing basically any physical activity. I mean, that's really hard to do, to come back to a sport and just kind of go back to exactly where you were. There's a lot of working back. You got to work back slowly, start off doing this and kind of just move your way up and get back to full strength. And I'm still doing that. I'm still trying to get back to where I was before. Gained a lot of weight right after, and I'm trying to lose it to get back in shape for basketball. Yes, I'm playing, but I still got to keep working at the same time.
Of course. Did they give you any reasons what happened, why it happened? Being so young, like, did you get any answers?
That's the crazy part. I never got an answer for why it truly happened. We had so many ideas, but everything was always, nope, that's not possible. No, that's not possible. Or it's just not what happened.
Yeah.
So we never truly got a true answer of why it happened.
That's crazy. The body's a funny thing.
Absolutely.
And it's like, everybody, has something different internally with chromosomes. And so I'm learning a little bit about as well. I actually spent some time with Gary Brecka. I don't know if you've heard of him or know him, but he's a human biologist. Okay. And he basically tells you about your body, and he does gene testing and blood testing and all those things. And I actually got the ability to actually work with him. And we're working on some things and some changes this year myself. But, you learn a lot about the body that you don't realize. You don't really get from doctors. Doctors look for what happened, and they're trying to, put a reason. What he looks at is your internal, like what's going on with your genes, what's going on with your blood, and, how that's happening. But to be so young, there's definitely something that had to trigger that. And, it might be something to look into, you know what I mean? Type of thing. Mm-hmm. So, that being said, did it change any relationships at school? People start looking at you differently, treating you a little differently?
When I first went back, I really didn't want to be like kind of babied when I came back. I just wanted to be a normal kid. I mean, yeah, it happens like naturally. Everyone's always asking you what happened. And I just kind of give them the short story. Yeah. Just because I don't want to stand there and talk about it at first. I just wanted to come back and be a normal kid, be in college, be back with my friends, be back with the team more than anything. I mean, you just want to be back with those people that you love. And I love everybody that I go to school with. They're awesome.
Yeah.
So
well, you're certainly a great kid. Heck, I didn't even know about it, man. So it's been it's about the first time I heard about it was today. When talking about it before the show a little bit, it blew my mind. I mean, it really did because I didn't realize that. Damn, you were dead. You were legally dead for a minute, and stuff, and brought back to life, which is a huge thing. But you know what? It just tells you God's got great things planned for you, man.
Absolutely.
He's got a bigger plan for you, and you got to use that to its fullest. And I know you will, man. So that's cool. Well, where do you go from here? What's college looking like? How are you feeling like things are going to go? Are you going to break into the starting lineup? What's your goals?
My goal is to just be the best player I can for the college and do whatever I can to make our team win. Right now, our record is 7-2, so I can't complain too much on that. If I'm playing on a 7-2 D2 team, there's not much complaining I can do. That's a good record. I'm on a good team. I love it there. I'm living life as good as I can right now. So.
Okay, Jake. So, it sounds like you got a great college. You got a great backing. Your family's been great. They're great people. Did you have any euphoric, feelings? Do you ever, when you lay yourself down at night, go to bed, think back to April, and what had happened to you? Does anything ever come out, or did you see anything? Or because people always wonder when somebody is gone, their heart stops, and did you see any lights? Did you see anything?
Personally, I didn't see anything, but in my mind, I believe in heaven and I believe in hell. So I think that I wasn't actually pronounced like dead. My heart was still like trying to beat, so it was like fluttering. We have a picture of the reading off the AED, and you could see where my heart line is like basically jagged. It's not like a true heartbeat, but you can see that it's trying. So I never truly flatlined.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
So I think if I truly flatlined, maybe I would have saw something, but personally I didn't see anything, so I'm going to have to go with that.
Gotcha. Well, Jake, tell the young people today, basketball. Well, basketball kids, they want to play basketball. Everybody wants to go out there and play. They want to go to college. They want to be D1. They want to catch, get these money bags and stuff. Tell them how hard it really is to play basketball in college, because you're a superstar in high school, but once you get to college, everybody's a superstar, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, you can be the best player on your team, and then you go to another team, and then you're not the best player anymore. And then say you work to be the best player, then you get moved to another team, and then it keeps on going. But going from high school to college basketball is a huge change. I mean, the game is completely different. Everyone's a lot more talented. Everyone's the best player from their hometown. That's just kind of how it is. Everyone's from different towns. Mm-hmm. Everyone's the best player, and you're just used to that. And I mean,
you get a lot of egos with that. The kids come in, people kind of, have a big ego, a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of freshmen will come in like, oh yeah, I'm this tough guy from college or from high school. I did this, that, and the other, and they'll get put to shame real quick if they come in with that. It's the kids that don't come in with it, and they're just like, all right, I'm just here to work, and I'm just gonna get better every day. Those are the kids that really show a major difference.
Yeah, and I know that's how you are, because your work ethics are definitely like that.
Yes, sir.
So, do you see yourself getting in Europe? Do you see yourself playing in Europe? I know you mentioned that earlier, that you still want to give basketball a future pro career, an opportunity for that. You mentioned going to Europe and maybe be able to play over there. Do you really see yourself doing that?
I really do. I just want to see that side of the country and travel. And I mean, I think basketball, when you go over there, you got to play away games. So I get to travel even more than just where I'm at. But I'd also like to see how it is to live in another country it's like 8 months, I think the season is. Uh-huh. And I think that would be awesome. So like outside of the basketball, I think living in another country would be fun for 8 months, just because I can always come home. But the basketball part,
Mom's not going to be happy about that.
No, my mom would not like that. But she would understand if that's what I chose.
Sure.
But the basketball part, I've heard it's awesome. You can go and play in great leagues and still have great competition and have a lot of fun. So that's what it's mostly about.
Yeah. What do you want to leave to end the show with? Tell some of the younger kids, give them a little bit of advice for them that want to go on to college and pursue.
I would say work as hard as you can and never give up, really. I mean, if you keep on working, if there's someone better than you, you just got to outwork that person to become the better player you can be. There's never a ceiling of how good you can be.
There you go. Well said. Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of Wham Bam's podcast. Like Jake says, number one, be thankful, be grateful for the people around you. And thank you to those that helped Jake to be here today. Because without you, he might not be here today in this podcast. And you know what? We loved hearing your story, Jake. We really appreciate your time today. And, as Wham Bam always says, if your life was a movie, would it be worth watching? And if the answer is no, then stop being ordinary and start being extraordinary. As always I say, stay positive, baby, and keep testing negative. It's your boy Wham Bam. Till next Wednesday, I'm out. This podcast was brought to you by Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. Call 1-855-391-9190 and find out why they are the future in merchant processing.
April of 2023. That's when my heart stopped. That's the exact heartbeat off the AED. That's the shock from the AED that brought me back, and that's the good heartbeat after, and that's April 3rd.
Wow. You got it all right there. That's exactly what happened to you.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Did you get all that? That's crazy. Insane. And I thought I got Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that's what I put on my shield.
Yeah.
So
I'll go green.